Karen is here, if Charles is here, we know something's gonna happen. And he walked through the lines and just touched people. And it changed the whole blighted area just for that little bit of time. So what's happening is that people think that they've been forgotten. And that's the main piece that we've been dealing with. And when we took the pastors from the community who already had their own pain, we got blankets from World Vision. And the pastors were able to go up to their members who were on lines and wrap them in the blanket and pull them in close and tell them, I want you to know God has not forgotten about you, and neither have I. And it made a tremendous difference. So I just wanted to share that.
When we talk about mental health issues, our community is certainly being called into account because for too long in many quarters, we have not paid attention. And so now we are paying attention, and I just want to congratulate the partners that have come together to ensure that we begin to address this issue. Every time an incident takes place or something happens to a child or in the schools, I say, have they gotten any counseling? And oftentimes these children are not getting any counseling. So I'm very pleased that people have come together to say, look, we're going to look at things differently. We're looking at our people, our brothers and sisters who have been damaged by Sandy, how we're going to be able to work with them, how we're going to help to make them whole. It's about healing. It's about recovery.
Everybody here, from the introductions that I heard, are professional. Everybody here is professional. And many of the things that you may be called upon to do in a disaster may not be what you do professionally, but it may be meeting the need. I call it something that I've learned from my sister who's been there for me so many times. Nell, Cheryl, I call it the ministry of presence. And when I was toe up, okay, seeing Coney Island and just seeing how the disparate treatment my people were getting. My people were getting. I couldn't do anything. There were enough people serving food. So all I did was go down the line and just hug people. And the people, I was laying hands too, I was praying. And you know, and some people didn't know what to expect. But as I moved down the line, and my son was with me, who's 7, we moved down the line, people prepared their bodies for the hug. Yes. They prepared their bodies for the hug. So we have some things, and there's so much power in this room. When we talk about our credibility and our experience collectively, can't be beat. Cannot be beat. Because we know we all work harder. We had to do more to get where we are. You know, and we begin to look at that. So, anyway, moving forward from right now, we have got to make sure that we do not lose this momentum.
And I think you're right, we have to figure out ways to tap into our strengths, but to really tie it to funding, because very often the reason good ideas are kind of lost along the way is they don't have any strong, enduring cash flow or funding. If I could, I'd like to make a point about how this comes full circle. The NMA now is trying to do a global health initiative in Liberia, and we work on these issues, and we spent about a couple weeks there last month and found out that the country spends $125 million a year on health care. This is Liberia. Just one example, one microcosm what you see in other developing countries. It's really very similar to what you see, I think, right here in the U.S. But probably no more than 2 or 3 of every 10 of those dollars actually goes to the people, so to speak, with healthcare issues and needs and medications and the like, and treatment, because the NGOs, not to criticize them, but disproportionately have kind of sold a bill of goods to the country leaders that you don't have infrastructure, you don't have doctors, hospitals, or needs, or whatever to meet the needs, so give us the monies, And very often, 78% of the dollars that go to NGOs are spent on administrative costs.
That's
and only
right.
go to the people. Which I think is the same, so you see that in West Africa, probably see it in the Caribbean, kind of the same problem here. Reasons why I think very often people of dark complexion like us remain poor. And these repeated complications or disasters, it's another reason for people to hold up a flag, receive monies, and then divert those monies, I think, to the places where they already have wealth. So a program like you have today, I think, is very, very, very relevant because our community has to find a different strategy to be able to access the kind of funding streams that are helpful, I think, to get to the people who have needs. And whether they are elderly or adolescent or like, substance problems or what have you, very often people with mental health problems are poor, really more than anything else, and I think have some of the biggest needs.
We're just not talking about traditional mental health counseling. You heard Brother Elliott lay out what we're talking about. But out of that may come a need for some acute services to be delivered. So we've got in this family constellation that kind of opportunity to provide those services. That's one area. I want to really focus on that Far Rockaway piece because that's, when we looked yesterday, what Brother Elliott was talking about was, I left the group because I wanted to see the Bloods. And I went out, there they were. These are young dudes, you look at them, you know what they're up to. All you gotta do is look at them. They looked at me and I said, yo, what's up, huh? Now they look at Pops, but they know that I understand the deal, right? So at night, you know what's going down there. I don't have to tell you, you understand that. So what we need to do is try to think, again, how are we going to impact that group of people, right? Then how are we going to impact the rest of them?
We had the opportunity to go out there and do some feeding, and we served some hot foods to some residents who were able to come down in the Coney Island area. And so somehow, I worked in Coney Island years ago. Although I'm Caribbean, I still would like to be there because I know there's a Caribbean American people also over there, and we certainly would like to initiate
All right.
The leadership that exists in this room, I think that we are all really able to connect with those ancestors that came before us in terms of being soldiers and warriors for our community. And it really is a social responsibility. And I think that to be recharged in a space like this where people are sacrificing their time and their energy, it's just, I feel very honored. So I just want to thank all of the leaders that are here in the room because this is so important for us.
This shows clearly that not only do we have thinkers, we have doers. And we just have to go out there and do it.
A critical part of this work is telling and describing our own narrative. We have to begin to start capturing our own stories, our own pictures, our own concepts, our own desires, and our own joys and outcomes.
You know that AMHA stands for All Healers Mental Health Alliance, and we are all healers, all of us.
This can become a template for other disasters. I hate to say that there will be more, but there will be more. And again, they too will hit hard the communities of African descent around this country.
This is a divine connection today, and coming together, you will be ministered to, you will be healed, you will be able to. We have come into the kingdom for such a time as this.